Hello, welcome to today's edition of the Academy. I thought it would be wise to take a pause from working with Sun Tzu, not to stop it for a while, but simply to step back. There's a lot of information in those previous 9 chapters we've done. We're about to launch into chapter 10. So I've realized that for some of those concepts may have been a little difficult to understand. So in today's video, I've decided to showcase some illustrations of 3 different areas or concepts, military concepts from individuals such as Liddell Hart and Sun Tzu. So, in our first example, first illustration, Liddell Hart in his book Strategy enumerated basically 8 maxims. Now, one of them is very simply: do not renew an attack along the same line or in the same form after it has once failed. However, he also goes on to say in a different maxim, choose the line or course of least expectation. So, the following is an illustration of how you can reconcile those 2 maxims. Hopefully, you'll see how this applies on the tabletop.
Field Marshal Haig has formulated a brilliant new tactical plan to ensure final victory in the field.
Would this brilliant plan involve us climbing out of our trenches and walking very slowly towards the enemy, sir?
How could you possibly know that, Blackadder? It's classified information.
It's the same plan that we used last time, and the 17 times before that.
Exactly! And that is what is so brilliant about it. It will catch the watchful Hun totally off guard. Doing precisely what we've done 18 times before is exactly the last thing they'll expect us to do this time.
Very enlightening, I'm sure you'd agree. Next, Sun Tzu discusses deception and direct attack in several of his chapters. So, it is possible to utilize an indirect attack, disguised as a direct attack, to propagate a deception so that your direct attack, which is actually your indirect attack, can succeed in the future. So take a look at this illustration.
Well, you know what this means?
If it's true, sir, we'll have to cancel the push.
Exactly.
What a nuisance.
Exactly what the enemy would expect us to do, and therefore exactly what we shan't do.
Now,
If we attack where the line is strongest, then Fritz will think that our reconnaissance is a total shambles. This will lull him into a sense of full security. And then next week, we can attack where the line is actually badly defended and win the greatest victory since the Winchester flower arranging team beat Harrow by 12 sore bottoms to 1.
Hopefully this clarifies the concept more fully. Finally, I would like to kind of showcase Sun Tzu's discussion about the idea of concealment and how to move without being seen and what have you, and the importance of spies, especially when your opponent is trying to hide his moves or positions from you. Okay, so I found the following illustration to be the penultimate example of how to go ahead and execute this concealment and the importance of spies when your opponent tries to use this against you.
In this picture, there are 40 people. None of them can be seen. In this film, we hope to show you how not to be seen. This is Mr. E.R. Bradshaw, neighbour Black Lion Road, Southeast 5. He cannot be seen. Now, I'm going to ask him to stand up. Mr. Bradshaw, will you stand up, please? Demonstrates the value of not being seen. In this picture, we cannot see Mrs. B.J. Smegma of 13 The Crescent, Belmont. Mrs. Smegma, will you stand up, please? This is Mr. Nesbitt of Harlow, Newtown. Mr. Nesbitt, will you stand up, please? Mr. Nesbitt has learnt the first lesson of not being seen, not to stand up. However, he has chosen a very obvious piece of cover. Mr. E.B. Lambert of Holmley, the borough's Oswestry, has presented us with a poser. We do not know which bush he is behind, but we can soon find out. Yes, it was the middle one. Mr. Ken Andrews of Leighton Road, Slough, has concealed himself extremely well. He could be almost anywhere. He could be behind the wall, inside the water barrel, beneath a pile of leaves, up in the tree, squatting down behind the car, concealed in a hollow, or crouched behind any one of 100 bushes. However, we happen to know he's in the water barrel. Mr. and Mrs. Watson of Ivy Cottage, Warbleston Road, Hull, chose a very cunning way of not being seen. When we called at their house, we found they had gone away on 2 weeks' holiday. They had not left any forwarding address, and they had bolted and barred the house to prevent us getting in. However, a neighbour told us where they were. And here is the neighbour who told us where they were. Nobody likes the Parody. And this is where he lived. And this is where Lord Langdon lived, who refused to speak to us. And so did the gentleman who lived here, and of course here.
I hope these illustrations helped you better understand these principles and how they apply to the tabletop. Please share this with your friends, help them become better gamers, and if you found this useful, please comment below. Thanks, and I'll see you next week in the Academy.